Hi, I'm Marty Coons, and I'm back with my really good friend Luanna Rodham. Luanna was my right arm in business. Started working with me in 2003 when I had Ideal Marketers, and couldn't have built it into what it was without Luanna. She always was on top of everything and making sure everything ran smoothly, and was a great liaison with a lot of our clients. Just a little bit about Luanna, her official bio. She consults top online marketers in using Infusionsoft and social media and content marketing effectively in their businesses. Helps them keep up with the rapid changes in social media and online marketing. And that's just a constant part of the work that she does. She specializes in taking the overwhelm out of business, and she helps you gather up your content and helps you become more visible and relatable. And she's skilled in continually changing aspects of social media marketing, content marketing, ensuring your business is always up to date while highlighting your best content. And Luanna has a special sauce because she graduated in 1995 with a BS degree in special education and was privileged to work as a resource teacher in the middle school for 5 years in Knoxville, Tennessee. And this background comes in handy because a lot of us entrepreneurs have that bright, shiny object, distraction thing going on where we get off on other things and we're not doing the important stuff. So Luanna's good about bringing you back to task and keeping you focused. And I know firsthand because she did that with me a lot over the years. and, when I'm brainstorming about it, something, and she's like, okay, so how is this going to work towards your goals? And she's going to bring it back to center. She's really good about that. So I have brought her on today because I talk about her loosely in the book. I refer to her in Spirit-Led Business as my friend that I hired that helped me really take my business and make it take off. And so I want to talk with Luanna a bit about delegation because she's really good at helping her clients figure out what to delegate, what not to delegate, stuff like that. So thanks, Luanna, for being willing.
Thanks, Marnie. Well, I have to say that Marnie and I were kind of in a place in our life where we needed each other because I wanted to be able to work. We had moved into the area and I didn't know anyone, and I wanted to be able to stay at home with my kids. I had little bitty kids at the time, and I met Marnie and she said, I think I can train you. And she did. And if it hadn't been for that, all these years, I wouldn't be able to be where I am today. So I'm thankful very much for Marnie for listening to the spirit and taking in this, special ed teacher that didn't know how to do anything online, but was able to take that knowledge and put it to use. So we've helped each other out, both of us.
And you got a gift for it. I mean, it's really good. She's really good with the marketing. I don't know how many times I've brainstormed with you on ideas over the years, but certainly it's been very helpful. And yeah, it's a good example of what I talk about in the book, where you have people that come into your life that you need what they have and they need what you have. I've noticed that if I follow the spirit, I get those people. It's like God leads me to those people, and Luanna's definitely one of the very first people that came on the scene that illustrated that point for me in my life. So, okay, so let's get started, Lou.
Okay.
In all the things that you're working with people on and their marketing and their business and everything, what are maybe some mistakes that you see people make with delegation?
Well, there's a difference between people just starting out and people who have been in it for a while. People just starting out, they feel like they have to do everything. And I think some of it is, it's your baby and you want control over it. I think that maybe in the place you'd been doing it for a while, and you finally realize, if I want to make a bigger impact, if I want to do what I really want to do, I got to get rid of the daily stuff that I really don't need to be doing. So it's number one, you have to decide if you're just starting out, are you at the point where you have enough things in place that you can say in your head, is that something I, Marnie Pearson, need to really be doing? Do I, Marnie Pearson, need to really be monitoring all of the emails that are coming in or all of the support desk stuff that's coming in? Is that something personally that I need to be doing? Or is that something that I can teach somebody how to do so that I can go create? So I can go create products, so I can go create this. And so newbie people at the beginning, they feel like they need to know how everything works. And I understand that philosophy. You want to know how everything works so that if you need to jump in there and do it, you can get in there and do it. So I think the mistake in the beginning is you get to the point where you are controlling every aspect of your business, and then you don't know what you can delegate. Well, I'm doing it all. What can I get rid of? You know, and is somebody going to be able to do it the way I want it? Are they going to be able to do it as good as me? Or is there actually somebody out there that has the knowledge to do it better than what I'm doing? And am I really doing it the right way? I think it's all these little things running around in their brain saying, do I have the money to delegate? Am I actually going to make more money if I delegate? And I'm not making the products right now that I want to be making. I'm not creating what I want to be making, putting myself out there and changing the world however I want to, because I'm spending my time loading my posts on social media and making my own infographics and loading my own blogs and doing my own keyword optimization and loading my own stuff on LinkedIn and figuring out my Facebook ads and all these things that you have to do as a marketer, checking my own emails, answering my own customer support, making my own campaigns, you know, writing my own email sequences, loading them all up. I could go on, and somebody's probably sitting there going, stop!
You're making me tired.
But those are all things that I do for other people so that they can go out and do what they want to do. So that they can go out and create and make their products and speak so that their business keeps running and they can scale it. So I forgot what the original question was, but
The mistakes.
okay. So those are mistakes. Thank you. I got overwhelmed myself. But so the mistake is thinking that you have to be the one that does all that. Because if you are the one that does all that, you will never grow. You will keep staying where you are. You can never get past that. I'm a helper person. I like to help people in their businesses. I'm a marketing strategist. So the thing that I love to do now that Marnie taught me that I'm good at is I sit down with people and we brainstorm. And then we come up with a strategy and we implement it. And I usually am the one that carries that out. But sometimes there's people on the team that are better at it. So the big mistake that I see is that people are too micromanaging and they think I can't let it go, or they think I don't know how to let it go.
Mm. So trusting that somebody else is going to do the job right could be a big...
Trusting someone else that could do the job right, but also then figuring out what can I let go? Because I remember we kind of went through that process. I don't know where your next question is going to lead.
Yeah, well, who knows? We're probably going to go wherever we want to go. But, you know, I'm thinking about it, you know, like for me, I could do just about anything.
You can do everything.
So,
but you shouldn't. You shouldn't do everything. That's
but I shouldn't, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like, that was the biggest thing that I noticed is like, yeah, I can do all this stuff, but that's not really my genius.
Right.
A lot of the day-to-day stuff that had to be done. And when I took the day-to-day operations and gave them to you, then that left me to come up with ideas that and revenue streams and different things that I could create and program to make the site better. I mean, when I was working with you, we went from a couple thousand a month to $16,000 a month. That's the massive difference. I'm just going to give people the numbers. And some months 20,000 a month.
And you started writing.
Yeah, and I started writing books, and I was able to do other things. You know, I could take vacations for 3 months, you know, through the summer and just kick back and not really do anything. Maybe just check a few things. And, you know, between the automation and the delegation, you know, it ran. So, I mean, it frees the business owner up to, you know, not be working in the business, but on it to make it better, you know, when you navigate wisely. Let's start with somebody who has a goal for something they want to do with their business, but they're not really sure of all the steps, and they're not really sure whether they even know how to do all the stuff that's between there and that. So they just bag this goal, or, I mean, how can they use delegation to help them achieve that goal?
Well, I think in that case, and we had talked about this the other day before the interview, you need to have somebody that can first pull it from your brain. And I had given you the example of a mutual friend that we had that she's done a lot for me, you know, and I've coached with her before, and she's given me free coaching before. And I had started doing some consultations, which is basically just brainstorming. And so I had said, hey, let's do this I want to do this consultation for you. I want to do it for free, and let's do this. And she knows all the content stuff I'm doing, and she's working in Infusionsoft now. So she had all these questions she wanted to ask me and pick my brain, basically. And she said, but how do you, if this was not me and it was somebody that you were just going to have just a brainstorming consultation with, she said, how would you go about it? I want you to treat me like you would anyone else. And I said, okay, well, the first question I would ask is, what is the one thing that is overwhelming you most in your business? And her mom, I mean, you could see the look on her face. It had nothing to do with what she had come prepared to talk about. And she said, oh my gosh. She said, it's products. And I said, well, what about products? Is it product creation? And she said, no. She said, I can create products. It's the sales pages. She said, there's this bottleneck that I have these monthly webinars that I do for my people in my membership group that I can sell. But what happens is I do the monthly webinar, I get the PowerPoint all done, and it looks great. But then I don't have time to do the sales page, and I don't have time to do the promotion, and I don't have time to write the emails. And she has a team of people that work with her. So I said, well, how about we just spend some of our time and come up with a standard operating procedure? From the time you know how to get the presentation together, you know how to make the product. I said, that's not the problem. And she said, right. And I said, you don't have a problem coming up with ideas? And she said, no. And I said, so the problem is I finished the webinar or the training, I have the product done, and then what do I do? And she said, yes. So that's what we did, is we sat down and we made an SOP, a standard operating procedure, from what happens from the time she does the product to all the steps, and the people on her team that she already had that could do certain steps that she didn't mind jumping in and doing, once the ones that she did not want to have anything to do with, like sales pages, which were holding her back. And we talked about certain programs that have templated sales pages, and that she had a program like that her assistant knew how to use, how she could promo things easily. I gave her some ideas of how she could easily write a blog post from the content, but that wasn't something she wanted to do. So we came up with somebody else who could do that for her that was on her team. And so it was basically, you do what you feel comfortable with, and then this is who we're delegating the other pieces to. And so once she had that down, she's followed it just like a plan. She gets the product done, she sends it to so-and-so. So-and-so gets their piece done, they send it back to her to do whatever. She gets that piece done, they send it back to so-and-so. And now she's getting her products out. So sometimes you need somebody there that can help pull it out of you. Yeah. Because not everybody's good at knowing how to do the process. And I think that's where the teacher in me comes in, probably, the step-by-step part.
Right.
Whether you have a friend that's good at that, you know what I mean? Or someone you can hire for $97 to help you come up with the process,
Right. Yeah. Okay. So what are some of the questions that you would ask yourself to decide what to delegate first? You kind of touched on it with her, but.
Well, what do I hate doing? I think that's one of the biggest questions that I have people go, I hate checking my email every morning. Are we frozen?
Yeah. And I've had people make a list. I've had people make a list of everything they do in their business and rate, what are your favorite things?
Yes.
What do you, rate them on a scale of 5 or something.
Right.
And then all those twos, get rid of them.
Yeah. Or write down everything you do and then put a check mark on what you like. Mm-hmm. And then those other things, customer service, set up a customer service support desk. And even if you're the one for a little while going in and pretending to be somebody else, I'm not going to say, I don't know. I have a sister and she for a long time would pretend to be me. I didn't know for years, but just the idea of it being somebody else, instead of a customer support. And if you can't afford customer support, then you be Sheila from Texas. Whatever you need to be to take that off. But I will tell you right now, if you do a lot of products, you really need to consider having a customer support person, because I do customer support. I still do customer support for a client that I've been doing customer support, and I did your customer support. Yeah. But sometimes people will just say things that aren't very nice. And if you have an objective person that can go in and say, okay, they're having a hard day, but if you've worked so hard on this product and somebody's being a big meanie, you don't want to be the one that has to deal with it. So if you get to the point that you can take all of those emails out of your inbox, that takes a huge stress, and hire somebody for $15, $20 an hour to do your customer support, I would start there. But if you're saying, I have so many emails, that's one thing I hate doing, is going through all my emails every day. You may want to look into doing a customer support if you have a lot of customer support, or definitely have a separate email account that all that stuff goes into. But there's VAs and stuff that will go through people's emails. When I was doing VA work, I would go, there was a certain client I had, I'd check her email every morning before a certain time and clear all the junk out. And it took so much stress off of her.
And that's a good idea for authors that get like feedback and they don't want to hear the criticism. Have somebody else filter them.
Somebody else filter it. Authors, anybody that creates, whether it's products or art or writing or anything like that. Because like I said, I work with creative entrepreneurs. And some of these entrepreneurs, you know, they put their heart and souls into these products that they create. And I have a guy now that I'm working who's an artist. You know, and I've worked with authors as well. And it's people are not always nice, and sometimes they get upset. And it is very stingy when somebody comes after something that you have created. You know, so if you can have an objective third person that can in their head say, you know, this person, who knows what they're going through that day. They may just be having a bad day, and you can come back and say, thank you for contacting us, blah, blah, blah. But you need that objective third person. Because when it's you, you're like, how dare you? I put my heart and soul into this. You know, so that's just an idea. But I know that number one usually with people is, I hate my email. There's so much, and there's so much trash in there. And, you know, getting somebody to go through and filter and do that kind of stuff. But yeah, make a list. And if you don't want to be negative, make a list and check the things you like to do. And then those things that you don't like to do, put them in the side and say, okay, what do I feel like I can let go from this? And if looking at your emails in the morning brings you down and makes you sick to your stomach, you know, trusting your gut, spirit-led business, I call that trusting my gut. Yeah. If that makes you sick to your stomach every morning, then I would definitely look into delegating that out. Even if that's the very first thing you do, and that's all you can afford. Is to delegate
anything that makes you feel sick to your stomach, or that you keep procrastinating until it becomes a bottleneck is a good sign, right?
Yeah. Anything. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Try not to slouch. Okay.
So you work with people a lot on their marketing, and so what would you say are some of the most common marketing mistakes that people make?
Okay. There's a couple of them. Number one is not posting enough on social media, or not posting. Every platform is different. And so I think you need to learn. Now, whether you post it or not, or you have somebody who posts it for you, your person who's posting it for you, they need to know you. But I think you need to be the one that engages with it. I think it's totally cool to have somebody post it for you. And I post for my people, but they engage themselves. The way I post is very different from the way a lot of people post. So it sounds like them. You would never know, because it is like them posting. I know them. I know what they like. I know what they don't like. I make that a big priority of my business, so it sounds like them. But they engage as themselves. But it's important that the person that you're working with, or if you're doing it yourself, that you know what to post on different platforms. You know, social media, I have Facebook. I feel more comfortable on Facebook because I actually have friends that I've met at events that are my friends' friends that I know. And so I'll post pictures of my kids and things like that. And I post business things. LinkedIn, I don't post pictures of my kids on LinkedIn. I see people who do that. I've been really watching LinkedIn lately. And there are some people that do. There are some people that post a little more personal things, but since I don't know those people as well, I do post professional tips, and I may tell a story about a professional tip. But I'm a little bit different there than I am on Facebook. You know, so you need to know your platforms if you do have somebody that is posting for you, give them a heads up. Tell them, give me a heads up if you're going to post a question, so they can go in and engage. Because I've seen, questions posted and nobody responds to all the answers. And I'm thinking it's because their person's posting for them and they're not going in and engaging with them. So I think that's a mistake. I think it's cool to have somebody post for you, but I think you need to be engaging as yourself.
Right. Because with the social media, it's a lot about you and your personality and you were telling me how you need to integrate your personality into some of the platforms, at least like maybe Facebook. Like you're always posting something about chocolate because you're a chocoholic or something.
Yeah. That's something I've done with the people that I work with. I found out, what is something that you like, something you love. Are you a coffee addict, or do you love tea? Are you a dog person? Are you a cat person? Do you love books about dragons? Do you love to bake? I mean, Marnie loves to garden. She's got this front porch sense thing that she's doing now. She, loves our country. I mean, there's things that that she loves country music. But, there's things that I see that I think of Marnie. My sister loves autumn and Christmas, and she's an author. And whenever anybody sees a pumpkin or a Christmas tree, they post it on her wall.
Or a kissing photo.
Or a kissing photo, because she's a clean romance author, a kissing photo. So what it triggers in people's brain is they're thinking of you. They see this picture of chocolate. Like I was at church yesterday and they were giving out fudge in our church meeting, which I didn't get because I decided to go chat instead. And this lady leaned over to this other lady and said, "Oh, Luanna, she is a chocoholic. She loves her some chocolate." And I thought that is so funny because it's true, and I'm careful with how much I eat, but I still eat it. But that's the thing is, do something now. That's more to me, that's Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
LinkedIn and Twitter are more I mean, you can do those things there. It's just in a different way. You just have to do it in a different way. It's, LinkedIn, I just still find it, even though people say post what you want, people still go there because they want to see the professional side of you. They want to see what you know. Facebook, they kind of want to see it all. They want to see what you know, how you act around people, if you're fun, what your interests are, that kind of thing. Twitter's kind of a woo, and Instagram is photos and quotes and those types of things. But if you have somebody posting for you, there's nothing wrong with that. Make sure they know you. Make sure you know what's being posted. That's the other thing. I keep spreadsheets so that my clients can go in and see what I am posting. So that I don't want to give all my secrets away, but the way I post is different than most people. But your person that's posting for you, you should know what they're posting. You should not just blindly let them post. If you're taking it seriously and building your relationships and putting yourself out there to be visible, that would be something that as marketers, that would be my big advice. Make sure that you know what's being posted.
So it's kind of a dance between delegating and delegating wisely, somebody who knows you that you can trust to represent you the right way, but then also being involved when there's feedback and stuff like that. So you can't just totally ditch it off if business is about you anyway, I guess. I mean, if you were selling shoes or something and that's all you.
Right. I did post an article like today on my Facebook page. I posted an article about how to post on the different platforms, and I posted a little lead in, but if you're posting a question like, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" and people respond to what they're doing this weekend, then you should engage. You shouldn't just have your assistant go in and press little hearts. You should go in and say, "Cool, I like to ski too," or whatever it sounds like. And so when I do that, I have a particular client that I've been working with for 7 years. And so we work really well together. And I'll notice that I'm just one of those kind of people. I pay attention to everything. That's probably that's why creative entrepreneurs work well with the detail-oriented people. So when I notice that people are doing that, I'll shoot them a text and say, "You need to go in and comment." And so all he has to do is go in and comment, and he's gotten to the point now where he's paying attention a little bit more, because if you just check on Facebook once a day, because I don't want to distract anybody, you don't want to distract them either. But if you check in on Facebook and you see that you have notifications, same thing on LinkedIn, You can just go through really quickly and see what they are and respond. Instagram's the same way, you know. But if you have a really good assistant that'll say, hey, you're getting notifications on this, go in and check them. So that's my little tip.
All right. So anything else you'd add about delegation?
Are you going to ask me another question, or is that it? I don't know. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. If you are delegating the way that we are talking about, you will want to find somebody you trust. And I think anytime you are delegating with someone, you want to find somebody you trust. So you need to decide two ways. Do you just want someone who does just the tasks you give them? Because there are people that are like that. They want somebody that just does their tasks. They don't want them to question them. They don't want them to give them ideas. They just want to say, I need you to go in and do this, 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 and this. And I started out, I mean, you and I had a different relationship, but I did have clients that were like that. You know, here's these tasks. I want you to go in and do them. Now, of course, hopefully they will check for links, and you don't have to specifically say, check and make sure the links are right, check this and that, but there are some that you may. If you get just a task-oriented person, you may have to say, make sure the links are correct before you send out every email, because there are task-oriented people. And then there are people that may like to give you a little feedback, you know, may like to say, so I'm saying you need to think, do you want a task-oriented person, or do you want someone that is task-oriented but may also give you ideas? Some people don't want them to give them ideas. And
I always wanted somebody who could think for themselves. And that's why I liked you, because
right.
it's like, you're gonna make it and you're going to make it better. And I trusted your creativity to run with it, you know, but there are people that want to stay on top of they want it done a certain way and only that way. And
there are people like that, and that's fine. And that's what I'm saying. There's two different types. So you need to decide, are you a micromanager? Because if you are, that's totally fine. But where you're looking for is someone who is going to do what you say and not vary from it. Right. If you are one like Marnie, most of my clients want my thinking brain. So they'll say, let's do this and this. What do you think? Is there a better way we can do it? You know, because I work in Infusionsoft, and a lot of times my client doesn't know everything that can be done in Infusionsoft, you know, or the content that I do and the way I do blog posts and things like that. They don't know how to repurpose their content, and they don't know everything you can do with it and everywhere that it can be posted and all that kind of stuff. And so they do want my input. But so that's where you need to think. And sometimes it is good to start out with just a task person, and then you find you need a task person and another person. So you have your task, maybe a virtual assistant, and then you have your person above that that's kind of your brainstormer that helps you, you know, come up with a plan and implements it, you know. So you kind of have to decide where you want to start. You may be a newbie and just need a task person. You may need somebody that just goes in and clears out your email. And, you know, you write your social media posts and they post it in Hootsuite. Because I've done that as well. But then you may get to the point where you need somebody that uses your content, but helps find the best of it for you and does that for you. So you are at different levels in your business, and you have to decide kind of where you are. Have you never delegated? Have you delegated, but you need to delegate a little bit upper? You need help kind of figuring out what more you can delegate because you feel like you still have too much on your plate. Maybe the person you have just tasking isn't quite enough. You know, that kind of thing.
Well, and just as you correct me if I'm wrong, because this is your forte and not me, but experience, you're going to pay more for somebody who thinks.
Yes.
Somebody who does just rote tasks.
Yes.
Okay, create me 5 Pinterest pins from these quotes. You know, that's not going to cost you as much as somebody who takes and finds those quotes in your material and figures out which ones are going to pop and how to make them, and then creates, you know, an infographic or something out of it. You're going to pay more for somebody who's
right
going to come up with some new thoughts and new ideas. And
right. And that's the difference. Yeah. Because I do the new thoughts and new ideas. And so I don't do the, you know, here's this.
Right. You're not a virtual assistant that you just say, okay, do this set task. You're somebody who's going to help you take all this knowledge you have from all these years of, how many years is it? 17 years now?
I guess.
Yeah, 2003 to,
whatever that is. Yeah.
yeah. So 17 years of doing online marketing and what works and what doesn't work. And hey, these little nuances of Infusionsoft or whatever. I mean, so you're getting a lot more experience.
Right.
Somebody
But,
like you.
and there are people that do need to start out with just the rote tasks.
Right.
You know, and I totally understand that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because when we started, that's basically what you needed. You needed the spreadsheets and the, you know, go in and do this every day and go in and do this every day. And they were just rote tasks.
Right.
You know?
There's a place for each one of them.
Yes. And so you have to decide.
And I think some people think they're going to get the really high, the person that's a high quality experienced person for, you know, the $15 to $20 an hour that you pay for somebody that, you know, just graduated from college who, you know,
right.
at task or something like that. You know, not to say that somebody who graduated from college doesn't have some new ideas or anything. I'm not going to tell everybody, but I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, you have varying levels of experience out there. I mean, you have VAs that charge a lot. I don't even know if they call themselves VAs. You know, I kind of try to stay away from that term, but.
And I guess we should define that. It's a virtual assistant as well.
Right, a virtual assistant. And they're, you know, they're usually the ones that do the rote tasks, but then you get some that are more specialized. And so they might specialize more. Like I was a marketing VA and now I'm a marketing strategist. And so it's, you know, you get some that might specialize in a member or, you know, Kartra or Entreport or, you know, those types of things. And then you have ones that just kind of catch all VAs, which if you're a newbie, that's kind of what you're looking for. Someone that'll just kind of pretty much do everything. Then you have social media management people that'll just manage your social media. But those are different than what I do too. Yeah, but so there's all sorts of things we could get into here.
Right. So besides being that, like you're a new business and you're just starting out, you're probably going to get somebody with a little bit more general skills to help. What other factor plays in on whether you want somebody with specialized knowledge versus somebody who's kind of a catch-all, knows a little bit about a lot of things?
Well, I think some of it is also, well, what programs you're using. You know, like if you're using something like Infusionsoft and you can't figure out how to send out an email, then your normal virtual assistant isn't going to be able to help you with that. You'd need somebody that has been trained how to use Infusionsoft. Not necessarily an Infusionsoft consultant. I mean, I took the 4 years, gosh, that would have been horrible. Infusionsoft years ago was coming around to different cities and had their they were actually Infusionsoft people that trained people how to use it. So I took the 4-day course and got my little certificate and passed a little test and became an Infusionsoft certified user. So you just need somebody that knows how to use Infusionsoft. So I think the programs you're using, I mean, if you don't know what to post on social media and you don't know how to get your content out there, you don't know how to optimize it, you don't know where to post it, you don't know how to repurpose your content, then that's when you're going to need somebody that has more skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just, I don't know, this is kind of often a question that it just came to my mind. You could learn a lot of the things. You could buy courses and learn how to do all that stuff. And I've seen people just like the infinite treadmill of courses. And in my opinion, you'd probably be better off using those funds to just delegate to someone who's got it than trying to learn how to do every aspect. I mean, I think it's important to know the general process. Right. That, okay, this is what needs to happen, you know, a good overview of it, but to dive deep and to become mega knowledgeable in every little nuance of, like, you know, video creation or audio editing, right, you know, website design.
And that's what creative entrepreneur from creating is if you are editing, I mean, I know you're good at editing, but you've got that techie brain along with it. But like, I don't. So if I decide to make a product, which I have been, I'm very careful with the way I speak and the words that I say, so I don't have to go back and edit a lot because I can do very little editing. But for me, it would make more sense for me to hire somebody to edit it than to spend 3 hours trying to edit 1 minute out of my video. So it's the time thing. 3 hours that I could have spent marketing it, writing my sales page, and getting it out there, on the 1 minute it would take somebody else to take the clip that I messed up. I mean, so if you don't know where to put your content, how to get it marketed, how to make the infographics, how to, where to post them, what sizes to make, and it's going to take you 3 hours to do that somebody else could do in 1, then that's when you need to start. And you could spend all this other time and you could create 3 more products in that 3 hours while somebody spends 1 hour doing all that other stuff. That's when it comes down to it.
So where can people find you, and anything you want to direct them to in particular?
Let's see. I live in, no, I'm just kidding. You can find me at, just kidding. You can find me at easybreezymarketing.com, and that's EASY breezy. See, I even have to think how to spell it. BREEZY, and then marketing.com. And right now, I'm still working on things. I've just rebranded, so I'm very excited about my new name. And so right now, you can get a little consultation from me for a free 20-minute consultation. There will be a new opt-in up there shortly, so be looking for that. Connect with me. I've got a Facebook page called Easy Breezy Marketing. I'm on LinkedIn at Luanna Rodham. Those are 2 places that I live. So I'd love to connect with you. Ask me some questions.
She's brilliant, so take her up on it.
Marty's brilliant too. Read her book.
All right. Thanks a lot, Luanna. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Marty.